What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the official Cliffy J, and I'm back with another video. And today, I'm gonna be giving you guys another challenge video. And we're gonna be doing a very similar topic to one of my more recent videos. I'm gonna be talking about 4 times that players flopped in the finals. And to me, the difference between flopping and choking, it really just comes down to flopping is for me, it's when a player comes into the final as maybe the best or one of the best players and significantly underperforms. So let's get into the 4 times that I want to talk about because this is not a top 5 list. This is just 4 notable times that a player flopped in a final that I want to talk about. The first player that I want to talk about is Laurel on Fresh Meat 2. And though this was her rookie season, she was able to come out and help Kenny win 5 dailies. And at least 3 of those were mainly just because she was the best female performer throughout the dailies. Then when they get to the final, she isn't able to keep up the same level of performance. I don't know if it was her endurance or just her ability to perform, under pressure, but she wasn't able to keep up with Landon and Carly, and they were able to get the win. The next player that I'm going to talk about is CT from Dirty 30. And this is one that you kind of also could include Derek because I think they both had like a very impressive season in terms of the dailies. From it, he won 6 dailies. Derek won, I think, like 4 or 5. And from a performance standpoint, he outperformed every guy throughout the season in the dailies. It's an argument for Hunter and it's an argument for Derek, but I believe he outperformed every guy on the entire cast in terms of daily performance. And in the final, he got beat by Derek, who, as I said, had their own little flop with the fact that he got destroyed by Jordan, who in the dailies, Jordan was good, but Jordan was not the best in the dailies or the second best in the dailies. I don't even think Jordan was the third best in the dailies. So it was pretty impressive for Jordan to go out there and do that, but it also was pretty bad and a terrible flop from C Tizzle. And the next player that I'm about to talk about is Kyland. And Kyland on season 40, obviously. He won 3 solo dailies, and Era 4 was a strong team in the dailies before that, and he was one of their biggest contributors. On top of the fact that he came in second multiple times. Him and Jordan were just swapping back and forth in the dailies. Jordan only won one more daily than him, and he was arguably the best performer coming into the final when you take into account the 2 elimination wins he was able to get against relatively strong competition. So you would expect for him to at least be in the top 4 of all the performers in the final. But no, that's not the case. He got outperformed by Michelle and Tori after doing a 3-hour swimming/endurance elimination. Yeah, he was the worst performer in the final. Where, like I just said, an elimination before, players like Michelle that have never been viewed as players by most of the fan base. So I would say that's a very crazy flop. I at least expected for him to do better. I understand why he didn't do great because he's not a great swimmer, and it makes sense. But it also is like, damn, you were amazing to start the season, and as the season went on, it seems like you only got better. Then you get into the final and you're garbage. Crazy. And the next player that I'm about to talk about is Tony Raines from Vendettas. And this is one that I was pretty like knowing that I want to talk about this one with the fact that Tony won 7 dailies, the most of anybody on the season. And he had a lot of money in his bank account, the most of anybody on the season. And he was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, political player on the season, and then turned around and got into the final and got outperformed by Cara. Now, I'm not going to say that's terrible because we all know the high low game played a part in and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter he was garbage in the final. He was being outperformed by Leroy, being outperformed by Kyle, being outperformed by Zach, being outperformed by Cara, being outperformed by Cam even at points. He just was getting cleared in the final. And I do think that is like crazy, especially when you take into account the fact that he was so dominant throughout the beginning of the season, throughout the regular season. He was arguably the most dominant player and then got into the final and was clearly the worst guy. Even if maybe I'm not saying it correctly. It was points in the final that Cara and Cam were performing better than he was. I think that's pretty clear. On top of the fact that you get into the end and you get destroyed by all the guys. Leroy, who had a bad performance in the final, especially to the back half, which a lot of people discredit Leroy's ability in this final. But a big reason I feel like Leroy gassed out so hard is because he had to run extra rounds when Kyle and Zach and Tony were sabotaging him at the beginning of the final. But I digress. Tony, terrible performance, garbage after being dominant. So I do think he is the most glaring like example of someone just flopping in the final after being a top tier player before that. So yeah, I definitely think we would. If I was to make this a list and rank number one, he would be the biggest flop in challenge history. As of right now, when I'm looking at it, obviously it's other examples throughout challenge history that maybe I should have went to, and it is some other ones like early stuff like Infernos and Inferno 2, stuff like that. But I feel like these are the biggest glaring examples because these are more individual and pair finals and stuff like that. But yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think of this video in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe and let me know what videos you guys would like to see next from the channel. Peace.